Hello guys, thought we would come to you today and I'm going to try to make some chow chow, green tomato relish, Piccalilli relish, rummage salad, whatever you want to call it. Here we just call it chow chow. Uh, I think maybe the different names may be in relation to what is actually put in it and also geographically where you may be in the United States. But here in North Carolina, we call this chow chow, and I do know it's pretty popular down in South Carolina. And the reason I know that, and I just want to share this with you, I think it's kind of ironic all this came together. But Mr. Howie over at Cedar Creek Homestead, he done a shout out, and thank you very much, Mr. Howie. But he was referring to our accent here in the Carolinas as being very unique, and he is right about that. Why, I don't know it's that way, but it is what it is. But years ago we went to Alabama, down in Fayetteville, Alabama. Preacher down there became good friends with us, and him and his wife invited us down to their place, and we went down and stayed with them overnight, and spent some time with them. But anyway, on the way down there, we went through South Carolina, and it was about this time of year, if I remember right. It was in October. I know it was in the fall, but I kept noticing the roadside signs. We went down 85, Interstate 85, through South Carolina, on into Atlanta, Georgia. I noticed going through South Carolina, there was a lot of ads up on these little roadside stands for chow chow, homemade chow chow. So it's a real popular staple around here. But anyway, we're going to make some chow chow here, and let me move the camera around so you can see what I don't have a lot of ingredients to work with. I got to get an onion out too. But now these little peppers right here, I bought those, but these are tomatoes that come out of the garden last week when we dug our sweet potatoes. You remember I cleaned that up, so I put green tomatoes in mine. These are all the peppers that's come off of my pepper plants out here, mostly banana peppers. I do have a few hot ones in there. That's a cabbage head that my mother gave me, and it's been in the refrigerator all summer. I've got to trim some of the dark places off of it, but we put cabbage in our chow chow, and like I say, these I bought at the store. My wife, we used them in something. I don't remember what it was, and then I'll need to get a couple of onions, and I'll put that in here. So, and this is the chopper that I use. Now, this is one thing I will say that we probably do different from most of the videos that I have seen on YouTube. I run mine through a sausage grinder, and this is not a standard sausage grinder where it has the die that goes inside of it. This actually has a shredder on the outside, and it will cut it up, and it makes it pretty fine. And this is called a Universal. Universal is the name of it. Enterprise is the other kind, and I do have one of those grinders, but you can't use it for this. It won't work right. So anyway, I'm going to get all this stuff prepped, get it washed up, and we'll try to get everything together and get it in a bowl. And I'll get back with you as soon as I can get set up here, and we'll start this venture. And I won't have a lot, but we might get maybe by the time it's all said and done, may have 2 pints. I don't know, but usually we put up quite a bit of chow chow every year, but with the situation with my peppers not doing well, but we've got some from last year, so we're not hurting, so I'm not worried about that. But anyway, another thing I wanted to say real quickly before I get on into this video, to my new subscribers, I want to welcome you to my channel, and I appreciate very much for those of you that have stopped by, and also those that's been with me from the very beginning. Now, I realize the very beginning of my channel was dedicated to a lot of gospel music, and I still plan to put that on here. I just haven't done as much recently with lack of time, but we still plan to do that. So anyway, I appreciate each one of you, and I appreciate your kind comments, and I appreciate, you know, the likes on my videos and whatnot. So you just continue to do that, and if you know other folks that you think would like the content that we have on here, feel free to share this channel, and you know, share it with everybody that you know. So anyway, I'm gonna get this prepped, and I'll come back to you here in just a moment. Okay, folks, I've got everything here in this bowl, everything except the onions. I've got it cut up, and we're going to run it through the sausage grinder, and I'll let you watch me while I do that. And the peppers, what we did there, I just took and de-seeded and got the core out of them. And I've got some in there, the little hot banana peppers that are small, so I left those whole because I like to have my chow chow, I like it to have just a little bit of heat to it. So if you would want to put the heat to something, leave the seeds in it, and I promise you, as my uncle used to say, it will light your candle. So anyhow, I'm gonna go around over here, and everybody I know does everything just a little different. That's what I like about YouTube. I like to be able to watch and see the different ways other people do things. And not that I'm going to change, I mean, but I just find it interesting. And I still, you know, it gives you ideas to other ways of doing. And some people like the crowd around here. They like it fine, and if you like it fine, this thing here will do it that way. But when we make chow chow here, there's really no set of ingredients that we put in it. I mean, the brine, I try to keep the brine for it, I try to keep that pretty well the same, and I go by the ball blue book to mix my brine up, and I'll show you that. And I'll go ahead and tell you now, this is a pretty lengthy process. I mean, doing the vegetables up, you know, you can chop yours up. You don't have to do yours the way I'm doing it. You can chop them up, use a food processor, however you choose to do it. But once I get this done, I'm going to mix them up and put them in that pot right there. And they need to sprinkle them with some salt, and they need to sweat for at least 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours is what it says. So that's what we're going to do once I get all this cut up. And then when they're done setting, I'll come back with you and we'll finish it up. But the only thing I don't have here right now is my onions, and I'm going to leave those for last because they can they bring tears to my eyes. So I don't want to block the views here. And if you use one of these things, I've got a bucket over here sitting under it, because it will drop some juice out. When you start grinding the peppers and the onions up, I wish you could smell that. Lord, it smells so good. A neat little story I'll share with you. Every time we make chow chow, I'm reminded of Earl Hamner. And if you don't know who he is, if you've ever watched The Waltons, Earl Hamner is the writer or the creator of The Waltons. And I actually, if I can remember to do it, I've got a video where we went to Schuyler, Virginia and visited the area that he grew up. The home that he was raised in is actually still there. It's not the same one that was on the TV program, but it's a farmhouse similar to like what I grew up in, really. And I love that show. Wish we had more TV shows like that. But in one of the books, autobiographies that he has written on himself, he mentions in the fall of the year, right before frost, he said their house would always smell peppery. And he said that they would gather all their green tomatoes and their peppers off right before the first frost, and they would, his mother would make green tomato relish. And funny fact about that, when we went up there, we stopped at the store that is supposed to be where the original iodized store, or the model, or you know, what the inspiration for iodized was. And they actually have a little deli inside that store, and I wanted a hot dog. And I just thought it ironic. Now there's another difference. North Carolina hot dogs are served with slaw, chili, mustard, or you can get it however you want it. But up there, they have relish, and they're good. I like them. It's the first one I'd ever tried, so just don't tell my southern kin people. But anyway, I thought that was unique as well. So now we're getting into the peppers here. We've got the green tomatoes. I didn't have as many of those as normally, but like I say, there's really no set amount. Doing this the way we grew up doing it, you just use what you have. Now I do like to have some kind of red in it because I just think it gives it a prettier color. But if you don't have that, you do not have to have it. I mean, it's not a necessity. I just think it gives it color. But just about to get done with this. I'm going to empty this thing out into this pot here. And I would, those of you that are into the homesteading and prepping, I would recommend that you try to invest in some hand-cranked, hand-operated equipment. In the event we ever lose electricity or, you know, a way of being able to operate our equipment. Now, I do have a wide variety of different things that don't require a gasoline engine and don't require electricity. But they do require elbow grease and back-breaking work. So I just thought I'd pass that along. But this is what our ancestors were survived on. And if they can survive on it, I think we can too. Yeah, you probably want to wear some kind of eye protection. Because these rascals here are pretty stout. They're just old yellow cooking onions. But at least I'm using them up. And you can get this mixture mixed together before you do anything else with it, and kind of taste it and taste the different flavors and see if you might want more onion in it or pepper or whatever if you have it. But if you're like me, I mean, you're just using what you have. A bad place on that one. Alright, I think this is just about to wrap it up. Okay, Ball Blue Book calls for 3 tablespoons, so that's what I'm going to use. Just sprinkle that over it. And I'm actually going to stir this around a little bit. And this is plain, non-iodized salt. And I didn't even have the camera where you could see me doing that, but it's fine. But let me get a spoon. I'm going to stir that just a little bit. And what we'll do, we'll let this set. We'll let this set for just a little bit. And it says 4 to 6 hours, so no more than this is. I'm probably just going to let it go for about 4 hours, and then I'll be back with you. But you see how the red pepper in there and the yellow that I had too, it kind of gives it a little bit of color. That's what you like. Kind of a fall look. But Lord, if you could smell this. So we're just going to let this set and sweat out. And I'll be back in about 4 hours. And it won't take you that long. But I'll be back and we'll finish this up. See you then. Okay guys, I'm back. And I am trying to go ahead and get my brine mixed up here. So I'm measuring this stuff out. I hadn't done it already yet, so it calls for vinegar. I'm assuming you can use, it don't say, so I'm assuming you can use the apple cider or you can use white vinegar, either one, or distilled vinegar. So I'm using apple cider vinegar. Calls for 2.5 cups. This recipe's in the Ball Blue Book. That's what I'm going by. So if anybody wants to know. Okay, then we have our try to do it in order that it comes. Celery seed. I think that really gives it a good flavor. And I've got the vegetables. I've got those draining. I've rinsed them off and I've got those draining. So they're there in the sink. I will probably write down the list of the spices and things that I used in this for my brine. I'll write that in the description. And I think this, according to this recipe, I don't know that I'm going to have that much. I don't know, we'll see. But this brine should do about 4 pints. So we'll let this come up to a boil, let it simmer for about 10 minutes, and then after this simmers, I'll add the vegetables to it, and we'll simmer that for about 10 minutes, and then it'll be ready to jar up. So I'll bring you back then. Show you what I was working on while I was letting this stuff set. Went out and picked all these. These is all that was left on the vine, best I could find anyway. And I did eat a few of them too. But anyway, I've washed these off. I just spread them out here. I'm gonna let them dry good. And we'll probably put these, bag them up, put them in the freezer, and work these out another day when it's a little cooler outside, and we've got a little more time that we can stick with it. But these are the bronze scuppernons, and they're real good grape. And I'm probably just gonna juice them, because my wife, she loves the grape juice. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. But I've got this in now, and if you have a exhaust fan over your stove, it would probably be a good idea to use it. That's some pretty stout fumes coming off of that. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish letting this simmer, and I'm going to jar this up, and we will give it a hot water bath for 10 minutes, and you'll be done with it. So I'll put the recipe down in the description, and that way you can have that to look at to give you an idea how I do the brine. I love the brine for that. I think it really sets it off. We love the chow chow to go on our beans, and you know, anywhere you would need a relish, we love it for that, especially in the fall and winter time. So anyway, folks, I'm going to get off of here, and we'll try to get some other things going on, have some other videos. And folks, I'm going to have to do something. We're going to have to celebrate having 1,000 subscribers real shortly, it looks like. So I have to be thinking what we're going to do there. So anyway, I'm going to get off. Y'all have a great day, have a good week, and we'll talk to you the next time. Thank you.